Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the story Nook. I'm not gonna lie, I am awake recording this at 4:58 a.m. on September 30th, which is a Monday. So let's go ahead, give us our title page while I tell you what's happening. We're going to be reading Villainess Level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the Demon Lord, Volume 1, written by Satoru Tanabata and illustrated by T. So, what is happening right now? In case you don't know, and you're not keeping up, there was a chemical plant called Biolab in Conyers, Georgia, that decided it wanted to catch fire on the roof. So here's what I know as of this moment, as a resident. I'm not even a resident of Rockdale County anymore. I live on the edge of Rockdale County. I technically live in the city of Conyers, but I am not in Rockdale County, I'm on the edge, but I'm in the city of Conyers. So, Biolab caught fire at 5:30 a.m. on September 29th. We do not know what caused the fire at the moment of this time. According to the press conference they gave us at 6 o'clock last night. What we do know, 5:30 a.m., fire on the roof started at the biolab off of Old Covington Highway. We have 3 different biolabs in Conyers. 2 of them are within 5-10 minutes of each other. Both are about 5-15 minutes from me. Fire caught on 5:30 a.m., September 29th, Sunday. Sprinklers went off inside of the building. I'm presuming underneath the fire. I do not know. They referred to it as a faulty sprinkler when I saw the first press conference. I don't know if they called it a faulty sprinkler in that 6 o'clock press conference, but the 9 o'clock one that I saw, they referred to it as a faulty sprinkler. But it went off in the building, mixed with the chemicals, and caused a plume. And that was banned. They got the fire on the roof contained, began moving product out of the building because, bad chemical plume, whatnot. At noon, around noon, September 29th, Sunday, 2024, the fire that was on the roof, it started back up again. So they had to put that out, and they got that out at around 3:30 to 4 o'clock. Now, this chemical that's underneath them, it's reacting to the water and making the plume bigger. It's causing a bigger problem. So it's a twofold situation of everything's kind of screwed. So, yeah. So 4 o'clock, so between 3:30 and 4 o'clock, they get the fire put out on September 29th, 2024, Sunday. And this, for those of you who don't use the American but use military time, that would be between 1,500 hours and 30 minutes to 1,600 hours. And so they're still removing the product. They're calling it the product from the biolab and clearing all that up. So that's the thing. From according to the press conference that they released at 6, the roof collapsed. Some walls collapsed as well. It is not looking good. I worked at this biolab for a little under a month. I worked at 2 different locations. They work in pool chemicals. I worked at 2 different of the biolab buildings. One I was doing inventory at. They were really nice. Didn't quite provide the proper PPE. The other one, it's been known for having fights and stuff break out between employees, management, all that. Not good. The first one, which is this one that caught fire on Old Covington Highway I worked at, it caught fire. They provided no PPE, gloves, masks, none of that. And I worked there, I feel like in early 2022, because I left a paint factory and I was there after the paint factory. And this is when I found out I was allergic to chlorine because I was having trouble eating, couldn't swallow any food, and it just kept getting worse and worse. My body was getting horribly unwell. And then we realized, oh, I'm having a allergic reaction. Like, they had to send me home because I was so out of it and I wasn't feeling well one day. And there were concerns about having me drive home because I was so unwell from this biolab. So, yeah, they don't do the very best. But when I went to the temp agency, because they only hire through a temp agency, it seems. And each building has a different temp agency working with it. The first temp agency, like the one on Old Coming Highway, I went in and legit, there were 5 other people who came in with complaints about the biolab. And it is safety concerns, health concerns. One guy, he has like his whole entire hands bandaged up because his hands are so damaged from the chemicals in that plant. And he's like, they're not providing me PPE. I keep telling them. And he's been going up to every single person in his chain and nobody's listening to him or helping him. So, yeah, that's a problem. And then there was like a couple other people as well. So I'm amazed no one's talked about it. I didn't sign no NDA. I don't give a fuck talking about it because I'm just like, this is my experience. This is what I heard. This is what I saw, and this is what I felt. Biolab on Old Covington Highway should have had an OSHA in it yesterday. Like, it should have had it in there years ago. And apparently, this one, there was a similar incident in 2020, 2004, and according to someone responding to one of my TikToks saying there was also an incident in 2019. So it's had incidents, according to the lady who's in the fire department. Out of the 7 years she's worked in this area, she has only had to deal with 3 incidences of this magnitude. There's been smaller instances, but only 3 of this magnitude. So, 3 out of 7 years, that's a little under 50%. Just saying. Granted, you can't control when like incidences are going to happen as the fire department, but I want to know what caused the fire. They're not telling us what chemical or product the water interacted with that created the plume that was causing the issue. Biolab specifically makes pool products. Gotta throw that out there. I found out I was allergic to chlorine. They make pool and spa products. So it's not just chlorine in that plant. But when I worked there and we found out I was allergic to chlorine, and I told them, hey, I'm allergic to chlorine. Can you put me in another spot that isn't chlorine, has no chlorine, any of that? And they told me no, because all they work with is chlorine. So, just gonna throw that out here. Not the best. And now that we have explained why I'm awake at 4 o'clock in the morning, recording things, I'm also cramping. Thank you for being here for 10 minutes of me ranting. We're gonna read some more of this book. So thank you. I will put I'll try to remember to make chapters for this one for y'all, okay? Just gotta remember that it's 9:10. I'll write it down. Because that was a rant. Now we're gonna actually start our next part of Villainess Level 99. We left off at these 3 little dots on this page, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, five pages to our next section, and this chapter is still long. This book has really, really long chapters, y'all. But I'm going to finish this chapter, and then I'm probably going to take a hiatus and read something else. Because story's good, but man, are the chapters long. I was now a second year at the academy. Something I had completely forgotten about, amid Ryu's hatching. In other words, there were students here now who were a year younger than us. Those students knew nothing of the various things I had done at the academy. In other words, those relationships would be formed with a clean slate. I hope I can utilize my past mistakes to build good relationships with my juniors. It's fine if they're a little cocky. I'll accept them as they are. I can do that as their elder. Even if they say something about my black hair, I'll let it slide. With virtuousness in mind, I was prepared to welcome the incoming students. But something had seemed off with them. Upon seeing me in the halls, they would step to the side and freeze up. If they saw me in the courtyard, they would run into the building. Did I do something to the new students? I asked Patrick one day after classes. He was officially my go-to when I was struggling with something. Yeah, he's your friend who's just like, hey, what you up to? I don't think you did anything to them directly, but he trailed off. I did something to them indirectly? Amelia, you're pretty famous. Most of the aristocrats in this kingdom know who you are. Even if they didn't, there was still that incident with Ryu. Things were better now, but everyone in the academy had overreacted to Ryu. I could understand being afraid of a dragon, but Ryu was an just a hatchling, so there was no need to be so afraid of him. I was also unhappy with the fact that Eleonora was the only one who agreed with me. My classes are done for the day. Maybe I should go see Ryu. I should invite Patrick as well. Are you free after this? Sorry, I have something. Patrick seemed to be busy ever since the end of the year party. He seemed to be traveling outside of the academy, but he wouldn't tell me where he was going. I was worried because he would sometimes return with injuries. Yeah, Patrick heard you tell that boy, you only like guys that are stronger than you. And he's like, well, guess I gotta become stronger. So he's off I want to be able to match up, I guess. But you ain't picked it up, and that's okay. Density is cute. What's going on with you lately? If you're mixed up in some trouble, I'd like to help you a little longer, just a little. Just wait a little longer, he said with a serious look. When the time comes, there's something I want to tell you. What does he want to tell me? Patrick began to act differently around the time we became second year students. But the only thing that happened around then were the end of the year party and Ryu's birth. Oh, I got it. It must have something to do with Ryu. I might be wrong, but I think about what you want to tell me and what I'm thinking are the same thing. Wait, no. I want to be the one to say it, Patrick sputtered as his face turned red. I could completely understand how he felt. After all, I was also slightly afraid. It could end up being fun, or it could end up being painful. But I think we should take this leap rather than stand still. Okay, you're right, Patrick agreed, looking determined. Let's say it at the same time then. Patrick, we had the same feelings. It's okay. I want to fly on Ryu. I said, actualizing my desires at the sky I yearned for. Wait, did Patrick just say something different? His words had been drowned out by my own, and I missed what he said. Patrick spoke first. Again. Fly, like, through the sky, riding on Rio's back. Yes, I'm a little afraid, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to try it on your own before me, though. That wouldn't be fair. Rio had been growing quickly and was now about the size of a house. On top of that, he was able to fly without anyone having taught him. Seeing Rio like that can only lead to a single thought. I want to ride on my dragon's back and fly through the sky. It was what anyone would dream of. Patrick must have been going to visit Rio on his own and had gotten injured playing with him a few times. I don't particularly want to fly. I was lost. What? Then what did you say just now? Patrick averted his eyes. I'm surprised that you're scared to fly, he said, blatantly changing the subject. I thought you weren't afraid of anything. He's just like, change subjects, mayday, mayday, mayday. I guess it's pretty embarrassing that I thought we were thinking the same thing, but I was the one who made that mistake, so it should be more embarrassing for me. I decided to go along with the current topic, putting aside what Patrick really wanted to say. I'm a bit scared of falling from the sky, I admitted. I think that's scary for anyone, unless you're some veteran wind mage. It's hard to control your body in midair. Right? I can't help but think about what would happen if I fell through where someone was standing. Even if I'm alright, it would be dangerous for the person I landed on. I would also likely be fine if I fell from high up, but that wasn't the case for the people I'd be falling on. The thought of something bad happening to them scared me so much that it kept me from flying. Oh, so you weren't scared for yourself. I think that's adorably precious of her. To be like worried about other people. I think it's absolutely precious. It's okay though. I think I'm going to try it out right now. There was no time like the present. I decided to head to Rio immediately. Patrick said he had plans, but he tagged along. Perhaps he was interested in flying after all. We walked side by side and arrived at the Academy warehouse. That was now his home. Ryu, I called out. Ryu poked his head out from the doors of the warehouse, which had been widened after some rushed construction. Upon seeing my face, he happily waddled toward me and rubbed his head against my side. Oh, he's just too cute. I was thinking you can give us a ride today, I said to Ryu. Just let me know if it's hard to fly. Ryu yipped in response as if telling me to leave it to him, and he then flapped his large wings, showing me that he was willing and excited. Shouldn't you hold off if you're worried? Patrick chimed in, spoiling our fun. He looked up at Ryu. Couldn't you use a saddle or something to secure yourself to him? It's okay. I feel like I can do it now. Based on my experiences, you're the most dangerous when you're confident. There's no doubt about it. Wow, I didn't realize I was so untrustworthy to him. It's not that you're untrustworthy, Emilia. Patrick has seen you be confident and then go about doing crazy, reckless, silly things. And he's just like, he's concerned for you. He's concerned for the other students. He's concerned for a lot of good reason. Just because you'll be fine doesn't mean everyone else will be. If I waited and got a saddle like Patrick suggested, who knew when my first flight would be? A saddle for a dragon would probably require a custom order that would take quite a while to be finished. I went ahead and jumped onto Ryu's back. Let's go, Ryu. We're going beyond the sky today. How about you just go into the sky today? Beyond the sky is space. A few minutes later, I was free falling through the air. The cause was my own overexcitement. I looked up at Ryu as I fell, who was now quite far above me, in hopes of getting his help. He gave me a confused look as if to ask what game we were playing now. It looks like he won't be of much use. I wasn't sure if it was due to his instincts or because of how I usually played with him, but Ryu seemed to perceive me as an individual who was much stronger than him. Maybe I can at least change the trajectory of my fall, I muttered to myself. If I continued on my current path, I would crash into the commercial area of the royal capital. I tried to think of somewhere that was an open space with no people and decided on the academy grounds. There were many buildings near campus, but the area where Rio lived was relatively empty. Yeah, because the students don't want to run into a dragon. Maybe if I just shoot out some magic energy, I mumbled, mind working. This might have been easier if I could use wind magic, but unfortunately, I only had dark magic at my disposal. I decided to release a concentrated burst of pure magic energy to the side in an attempt to change the trajectory of my fall. It was extremely inefficient, but my spur of the moment plan went surprisingly well. I was now falling straight toward the academy. The speed of my fall began to increase, but it seemed like I would reach the academy with no issues. To be certain, I continued to make small adjustments by firing horizontal bursts of magical energy. Oh, wait. Couldn't I just point the burst downward? I had only been thinking about landing somewhere away from other people, so I'd completely forgotten that I could just decrease my speed using my magic energy at the same way. But as the thought occurred to me, it was too late. I crashed into the ground with a thunderous sound. A cloud of dirt billowed around me. I was able to change my direction of my body at the last minute and landed on my feet, which kept my uniform safe, fortunately. Girl does not want to have to buy a new uniform, and I am okay with that logic. Still gonna need to be clean. There's so much dirt in the air, I coughed. My shoes are ruined, too. Well, that was quite the experience. I sat on the ground without giving it much thought. Yumilia, are you all right? Patrick called, running over to me. He had most likely witnessed my fall. I'm okay. The only victims were my shoes, I joked, pointing at my shoes. Hold on, I'll carry you in a second. What? Wait, I can walk. It's fine. There was no need to be so worried. So quickly that there was no moment to stop, and Patrick scooped me up and held me up, bridal style. I flailed my limbs around, but it didn't seem like I would escape. I mean, I could probably escape if I thrashed with all my might, but I didn't want to hurt Patrick, so I held back on all my movements. This moment brought my weakness to light. Even though I had the brawn, I was light in weight. Where does it hurt? I'll take you to the infirmary right away. No, wait. If we use Humilia as a recovery magic, you could just... Where's Humilia? Are you really that flustered? You're holding me. It took quite a while to calm Patrick down after all that. Apparently, the story of how Patrick ran around the academy, carrying me bridal style, immediately spread through the student body. Hey, why did you get so panicked? I asked when he had calmed down. Sorry, I just thought you got hurt. And I couldn't help myself. There's no way I would be hurt after something like that. You've worried too much. You need to take care of yourself more. Everyone else might not think it, but you're human too. Huh? People don't think I'm human? It felt like he said something vaguely terrible to me. But I let it go since Patrick was the only one who worried about me like this. I need to be grateful to him. Yes, we should indeed be grateful to Patrick. We have made it to this section, and I need to use the bathroom, so we are on page 129. We are going to start up here at the shoot Lizzie's break, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more pages left to read before we finish the story. So thank you all, everyone, for being here, for joining me for this story, and for listening to me rant. about everything that's been happening. May you all be safe from harm and all that good stuff. Stay safe. I'm still in shelter in place. I have gotten no updates on that being lifted, so we'll bye-bye. Remember to drink water.